r/neckbeardstories by Redmond Dts. College weirdo wanted a gamer girlfriend. Hi everyone. First time posting on this subreddit, so enjoy this story. I guess it's pretty weird. So, to set the scene, the characters in this story are as follows. Me, who I'll refer to as GM4 Grim Reaper, who at the time was 16 years old. Weirdo, who I'll rename Rick. BATT, standing for boyfriend at the time. So, it's my first week at college, and I'm in a maths class. I'm pretty introverted and had not really been in a room with so many new people before, so I was determined to make a good first impression. The girl sat next to me on my table wasn't particularly nice to me, so I gave up on trying to befriend her quite quickly. Instead, I tried talking to the two guys that were sat a few desks away. One was pretty passive and chill, the other was very enthusiastic about talking to me. This was Rick. I didn't think anything of his enthusiasm, I was just happy that someone actually seemed to want to talk to me. And this guy didn't look like a typical neckbeard, either. He kind of looked like Pro Jared, but if Pro Jared was short and had short, blonde hair, acne, and wore the same grey tracksuit every day. Everything was totally fine and normal for a while, and I even moved desks so I could sit next to my maths buddies. I call him Rick in this story though because he was a great physicist and physics enthusiast. His words, which I found funny considering we were in a maths catch-up class, and oftentimes would try and find loopholes in Marvel heroes' superpowers for fun, that sort of thing, which was kind of annoying. However, during these conversations, one day I made a critical mistake. I told Rick I play video games. I randomly joked that Bloodborne made my blood pressure go through the roof because it was so stressful, and that's when I suddenly noticed a change in Rick's behavior. His eyes lit up and his expression looked immediately a lot more interested and attentive. Straight away he started telling me about how I was, quote, officially the coolest girl he knew, and started complimenting me a lot, especially about my appearance. Suffice to say I got very uncomfortable very quickly, but I hadn't learned that I could say no to people when they were bothering me yet, so I always just laughed him off and tried to change the subject. I still didn't have many people I would talk to at college yet either, so I didn't feel like I could just cut him off. Stupid, I know. Then he started trying to be a gentleman. He would run across the room to open doors for me, even when I had my hand on the handle and was about to open them myself, like full on drop whatever conversation he was involved in to duck under my arm and slam his entire body into them. He would even follow me down corridors and do this, before turning around and going back the other way. He needed to go the other way. He followed me in the wrong direction so he could open doors for me, which was super odd. He also insisted on waiting for me to get my things together after class so he could walk me across campus, which I was very annoyed by, but still didn't feel I could tell him to stop it. I just started packing my backpack up a lot more slowly in the hope he would get impatient and leave before me. He would compliment anything remotely nerdy I had, did, or said, whether it was a game or movie reference or a game related t-shirt I was wearing. To make things worse, the teacher made a joke once about me being Rick's stalker. There was context for this joke, but I don't remember it now. I just remember being embarrassed by it, and Rick enjoyed this idea far too much. He would also make excuses to touch me, like asking me if I was his friend, and when I awkwardly replied I was, he would hug me, or rub my arm, or put a hand on my shoulder. It was gross. Cut to one day when I was talking to boyfriend at the time. Rick spotted us and came over to talk to me, and I was surprised to find out he and boyfriend at the time knew each other from school, where Rick incessantly picked on boyfriend at the time. Conversely, Rick was very surprised to learn that me and boyfriend at the time were dating and had been for a while. He then started screeching about how he couldn't believe it, and yelling at boyfriend at the time. How did you land her? And how did you manage to get that? Over and over again. All boyfriend at the time could do was shrug, obviously getting more embarrassed the more vocal Rick got, so I put a stop to it. I was annoyed at Rick's behavior towards someone I cared about, so I told him to stop, and that boyfriend at the time was nice. That stopped Rick in his tracks and he looked quite put out. He came back briefly while me and boyfriend at the time were eating lunch together, where he was wildly gesturing his disbelief. He ran away as soon as he saw that I'd seen him. Did the knowledge that I was in a relationship deter him? Not even a little bit. This is Rick we're talking about here. In fact, his behavior actually got worse. Once, I was heading up a staircase to a different class and I heard a voice shouting, "Hey, GM. You look good today. Like, really good. Really." But I looked up and saw him camping out at the top of the stairs. It really scared me. He also shouted to me and hugged me on the street whenever he saw me, even if I was out with friends or family. The final straw came soon after. I was sat on my desk one morning, spacing out as I often do, when I suddenly feel something on the back of my head, sliding down my neck and shoulders. I snap out of my spacing and turn around, and Rick is standing uncomfortably close behind me. He's running his hands through my hair, and stroking my shoulder and the side of my face. I was completely frozen and bewildered. I had no idea how to respond to this. I asked him what he was doing, and he told me he was adjusting my hair, and flipped it over my shoulder. He gave me the creepiest smile and said, "There. You look much prettier now." I feel really nasty and slimy just thinking about it. Thankfully though, the teacher stepped in. He told Rick to stop what he was doing and not touch me again. Rick argued that he had a spatial awareness disorder and that my hair not being right was bothering him, but the teacher wasn't having any of it. After class, the teacher pulled me aside and made Rick, who was waiting for me, leave the room while he spoke to me. I was terrified I'd done something wrong, but instead he asked me if I was okay. He told me that he was a dad of a teenage girl himself and that seeing boys harass his female students particularly pissed him off as a result, and then asked me if I wanted him to keep an eye on Rick for me. He was very encouraging and his support honestly surprised me. I told him that I was okay and that Rick had been mostly harmless, but the teacher told me he'd keep an eye out anyway as he knew that behavior like that could escalate. He also apologized for the stalker joke he made, as he now realized that it had been in poor taste. Rick grilled me about what the teacher had said to me. He was waiting outside the classroom for me, but I was evasive. I left that college soon after anyway, so thankfully I never saw Rick again and he had no way he could keep in contact with me. TLDR creep at my old college found out I was a gamer and didn't leave me alone. Kept trying to touch me and generally made me uncomfortable publicly to the point where a teacher had to intervene. That's all folks. Thank you for watching. If you like videos like this one, why not like and subscribe for more? Have a nice evening.